How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Ironsmith Designs. We're here in my recording studio, which is honestly more of a mad scientist layer because I'm really just working on a lot of projects. I'm still working on my punk rock stuff, but I'm mostly restoring guitars, modifying guitars, just restoring a 89 P bass, which is you're gonna see that video. It's cool. But one of the things that I'm building is a side address small diaphragm electret condenser microphone. The one thing I love about that microphone is the capsule I'm using. And I'm using two of those same exact 6mm omnidirectional electret condenser capsules on this project, and that involves this cosmology dummy. I'm borrowing an idea from Neumann. I'm not cloning a Neumann microphone. I just like the idea. And I like these capsules that I'm working with. So I got this cosmology dummy, which I like because it's got rubber exterior, which I think is similar to flesh. It's got a dense foam interior, which I think is going to be similar to like brain matter and muscle tissue. So I think this is a good human analog. And that way this can face the sound source, face away from the sound source, or be side to the sound source and be able to record drums, guitars, things like that, binaurally with something that's going to be somewhat of a human analog. All right, welcome to my very messy workbench here in the corner of my studio where I tech guitars and build things and, all that good stuff, wind pickups and so forth. We have our mannequin head here, and I have my two microphone elements here. These are actually really cool elements. I've switched over to my GoPro, by the way. But I do leather work. Okay, so I have this hole punch for leather, and I found a punch that's basically the same exact size as the 6mm capsule. That way, since this is rubber and foam, I can cut into the ear here, and there'll still be enough of the hole being a little too small, so when I press fit the microphone element into the hole in the ear, a little bit of that foam will be able, and rubber will be able to kind of grip the element. And then I have this leather sewing needle, which the eye is just big enough to be able to run the wires from the back of the capsule through that. And then that way, once I have the hole punched, I can then go into the hole and push all the way to the back of the ear and pull the wires through. And then I can run the wires from the element back here and have my mesh tubing for management. And I have wiring to extend, so we'll have the mesh tubing come here, and then they'll have a clip here, and then the extension wire will run all the way down to the electronics box that I'll have sitting right here. I have amphenol connectors that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to run wires out. I'm going to have strain relief built into the box, and have XLR cables, connectors coming out. So that way you can connect up to microphone preamp and be able to record. So let's get to the build. Alright, so I'm going to get ready and wire these up. You probably can't see it because I used a silver Sharpie, but I wrote R here and L there, so I know that this is the left mic and this is the right mic. It's always going to be that way based on where the head is facing. Since it would be facing the window here, this is the left side, that's the right side. So we're going to wire up these wires to the capsules. All right, so I'm printing the box here for the electronics to go on the Headmic. I got some really bad lifting on this side, which, you know, probably my fault. I ran the bed a little bit hotter than normal. Probably should have just used some Aquanet. But overall, I made the box deep enough that it's not going to inhibit me from placing the electronics properly, and all the holes are still in alignment, so we're good to go. It's not a big deal. All right, and here I am printing the cover for the electronics box. I already got the box with the wires and restraints kind of set up, and the mounting hardware, all that good stuff. So yeah, this is coming along really well. All right, so I have the straps on the box, and I have the box strapped to the mannequin, and the wires all nicely organized there with some heat shrink behind the ears to reinforce that, heat shrink on the joints between the wires from the capsule and the wires running to the box, and then I have that little cable management hook there, adhesive to the neck of the mannequin to run the wires into the box, and my wires cut to length. So now all I have to do is wire up the electronics and then put in my XLR connectors. And no offense, but I am not going to let you see the electronics because it's my design. All right, here we have it, the final functioning prototype. This was an absolute blast to build. So much fun in one day, going from an idea to a functioning prototype. This is, you know, not only was it just absolutely just a joy to design this and assemble it and get something that's functional, but sounds really good and is going to open up so many possibilities in regards to how I can capture unique points of view of recording instruments and things like that in my studio and really open up some creative abilities. But this would be awesome for recording Foley for, like, you know, video games or movies. So I might actually do like a nice cool short film music video for my punk rock project and use this, you know. But having this analog, you know, this human analog that gives that binaural human listening point of view, and it sounds great. You're going to get to hear it in just a second as well. So I highly recommend putting on some cool headphones or some really good speakers so that you can get that immersive feel of when you hear this. But having all the electronics contained into that 3D printed box that I designed that I can easily access and fix anything if something were to go wrong, you know, and it's all, you know, strapped onto the dummy and then covered with this t-shirt to give that human analog immersion, the sunglasses, which serve no purpose whatsoever, and then the wig, which would only serve as a windscreen, but there's no wind in the studio and I turn off the AC when I record anyway, so that's pointless as well. But it does give that human element, that analog immersion that I was going for in wanting to create something that was cool. And yes, I know it looks a little goofy, and I'm sure there's going to be some moron in the comments who's going to say, hey, it looks like a sex doll or something like that. That's the society we live in, so go ahead and take bets on how long that takes. But you know, for less than a tenth of what the Neumann costs, and again, this isn't a clone of the Neumann, but for less than a tenth of what the Neumann costs to be able to build this, and, you know, have something that sounds great and is going to offer so much creative ability in my studio. This was just so much fun to make. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a sample on it right now. So 3, 2, 1. We are now listening to the Ironsmith Designs Headmic. Now I'm on the right side of the dummy, and since you're mirrored to us, you should be hearing me left justified in your headphones or on your speakers. And if I keep talking and I face the dummy and walk around and then I keep coming over here, you should have heard me pan from your left to the right in that cool center right there. And then if I keep talking and I go behind the dummy and then I keep moving over this way, you should have heard me go from your right back to your left. And it should have been a little bit darker on the back side of the dummy versus on the front side of the dummy a little bit brighter, and on the back side of the dummy a little bit darker. But in any case, this again is going to open up a lot of creative possibilities for me. Back to the camera microphone. So I had a lot of fun with this. If you're interested in how this sounds and what it can do in a recording studio environment, go over to my YouTube channel for my recording studio, Recycled Primates. There's a link in the description below where I demo this on electric guitar cab, drums, and actual acoustic drums, and on acoustic guitar. But if you just like the nerdy stuff where you just wanted to see the, you know, idea to prototype, you know, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment here on Ironsmith Designs. And if you jump over to Recycled Primates and check out my recording studio, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff there. Until the next video, thank you and take care.